We're at the stage of the final pool matches in the men's rugby sevens. Up next, it's France against Japan from the Youth Olympic Sports Park rugby field here in Nanjing, China. Around about a 30-minute drive outside the main downtown area. A couple of hours from Beijing if you want to get the geography. And Nanjing on the eastern side of China. At this brand new venue, a multi-sport venue just on the outskirts that has seen some wonderful rugby over the last 2.5 days. And we've got just a day and a half more of competition. 3 men's pool matches to come. Then this afternoon we have the 5th and 6th place matches and the semi-finals, the medal matches, taking place on Wednesday. Good crowd in here again. It is quite early in the morning, so we started at 9 AM local time. Lots of the schools sending parties along of people to have a look at rugby sevens, many seeing it for the first time. The men's competition is quite interesting at the moment. The only 2 teams that are guaranteed a place in the semi-finals are Argentina and France. A France win here would put them above Argentina. Argentina still have to play. They take on the USA in their final pool match. The USA are the only team that can't make it through. Fiji, Japan and Kenya will look to make up the other 2 of the 4 semi-final places after these pool matches taking place today. If points are level between the sides, it comes down to the results between the 2 teams. If that fails to separate them, then we're into the realms of point difference, try difference, etc. France team list. Thierry Janacek has gone with the 7 players you see on the left-hand side there. They've performed very well so far. Leading try scorer is Martin Leveau, who has 4 to his name, but he's not among the starters. Japan won both their games yesterday to play themselves into contention after 2 opening defeats. Captain Kohei Tsuyada has been exceptional in helping to turn around their fortunes. Not only has he scored a try, he's also their kicker as well. 2 halves of 7 minutes on the way, a 2-minute half-time break in between. Very humid again here today in Nanjing. A little bit cooler than it was yesterday, but not as grey overhead. Hopefully the sun will break through a little bit later. Pleasant conditions for all those concerned. Teams waiting for the go for the officials. France on the left as you look, and Japan in the red and white hoops. One or 2 slight changes to the laws of the game in this form. There is the Japanese coach, Tsuyoshi Tokunaga. Those 2 wins yesterday over the USA and Kenya have really played his side back into contention. And a former French international, Thierry Janacek, the coach of the French side. Plenty going on here on this complex today. We've got BMX, the opening day of competition there, and beach volleyball continuing also. Field hockey will also be at this Youth Olympic Sports Park in a few days' time. But it's rugby sevens in the men's competition that occupies our minds as France take on Japan. It'll be the Japanese to kick off. You'll notice the Japanese are all wearing the protective headgear. It is a stipulation in Japanese youth rugby. It's a mandatory requirement for safety reasons. Early touch of the ball for Arthur Retière, who's been very impressive for the French so far, the number 10. Good release of the ball on the deck as well. Voisin, strong pass out to Attila Septa. Here's Fatas, tallest player on the field for France, Faraj Fatas. That's nicely done by Alex Graceling. Quick hands from the French, moving the ball along the line. Fatas, almost up to the halfway line. Alex Arate, oh, he's clear. And the only man choosing to wear the headgear for the French. He's almost through. It's a really good tackle inside the 22 from Kasuki Naka. But France will go over for the opening score of the game. Nahan Torres gets his first try of the competition. Has featured in all 4 previous games so far, Nahan Torres. Oh, conversion attempt goes in off the top of the bar. That's a touch fortunate, but they all count. Retier had presence of mind to get back to his feet quickly, that Alex Arate, and Japan had no answer to the pace of Nahan Torres as he came through the gap. First touchdown of the game, and France lead here by 7 points to 0. Well, Japan immediately will get themselves on the score sheet. Racing away is Koki Takayama, and France caught out right from the kickoff under the post. That will give the fairly simple conversion attempt to Kohei Toyada. Most of these players in the Japanese lineup are still at high school. Many of them want to become pro rugby players when they finish their studies. It's a great platform for them, of course, to play on an international level. And they've got the extra 2-point conversion. 7-all. It's been a good start. Well, it's all of his own making, wasn't it? Takayama, as he plucked the ball out of the air from the kickoff. And that's how you score a try. Flying through the air to get the touchdown. 4 minutes gone. 4 minutes to go, rather, in the first half. Japan with the kickoff. Gathered in by Retier. There's Arate, and he too with a little drop of the shoulder to buy some space. Retier's continued his run, he almost got clear. Good tackle by Yamada. Voisin. Graceland. Retier could be away here. Oh, he's almost had his shorts tucked down, but he manages to stay on his feet and will go over in the corner. And France and Japan trading tries at the moment. Retier with his second of the Rugby Sevens competition in the pool matches. He has given himself a rather tough angle to try and get the extra 2 points, but he won't worry too much about that. He has the 5 on the board for the try. France 12, Japan 7. This is the third of 4 days competition in the Rugby Sevens. China currently topping the medal table after the opening few days of competition here in Nanjing. That's a great kick from Retier, straight through the middle. Well, the angle didn't bother him at all. Very competent kicking by the France number 10. And the Europeans have doubled their advantage. Very nearly had his shorts tugged off him as he tried to make his way through. It's been very impressive, Retier, from the Racing Metro 92 club. And here comes Japan again. Strong running from Kuwayama. Here's Maeda. Getting very close to the touchline. Dogo Maeda's just lost his headgear at the moment, but more concerned with trying to keep hold of the ball for his side. Toyada. Fatas has done well, but penalty to the French. Japan having to retreat 10 metres for the free kick. Retier. Fatas allows the ball to run onto Takayama, off Takayama rather. Fatas again. Grassling. 3 Japanese players just can't wrestle the ball off him. Japan will have the put in for the scrum. It's the first scrum of this pool match. 3 players to contest it from each side. Just a warning from the referee to Fatas. They will engage. And here's the put in. Can Japan retain possession of the ball? Yes, they can, is the answer. Now they'll try and stretch the French along the line, still in their own half. Yamada. And there goes the hooter. Play will continue. Fatas reaches the ball first. Into touch. And there goes the half-time whistle. Well, a very competitive first half, as we would have expected between these two. France are already in the semis, don't forget. Japan looking to try and secure their place. They got an immediate response after going 7-0 down. Battle back to 7-all, but another try for France, and Retier means at half-time it's France 14, Japan 7. Tsuyoshi Takanada will be looking for more of the same from his team in the second half. Got off to a poor start, defeats to Fiji and to Argentina, both of those heavy defeats, but something transformed overnight, and yesterday they looked like a totally different team. Victories over the USA and Kenya. There's 3 points for a win, 2 for a draw, and a point for a defeat in the pool matches, so Japan will move up to 9 points, even with a defeat here. And as they beat Kenya, that could well be enough to see them into the semi-finals. It's slightly tighter in the men's competition than it was in the women's. USA, the only team that can't make it into the last 4. France there in their huddle on the halfway line. Thierry Janacek, vastly experienced at this form of the game, and we'll know his side will have to be at their best to hold off the Japanese in the second half. So France will kick us off for the second half. Made a change at half-time as well, the French, bringing on Alexandre Lagarde. In 2 matches, he's come on and scored with his first touch, and he's going to do it again. Once he gets going, there's no stopping him. And that's a masterstroke again from Thierry Janacek. 3rd game in a row that Lagarde's come off the bench and scored with his first play. And France move into a 19-7 lead. Well, Retier's hit the post this time. Well, he scored one in the first half that flicked off the top of the crossbar and went over. That time didn't quite get the look of the bounce, the ball bouncing back into play. So no extra 2 points for the French, but a look at Lagarde's little shimmy and a drop of the shoulder, stretching those long legs, and once he was away, fairly simple touchdown under the posts. Victory for the French would take them above Argentina, but Argentina do still have to play the USA in their final match. Tomonaga Another change made by the Japanese that came on at half-time. Mishandled by Yamada. And now Retier racing through. Beaten for pace there by Takayama. Retier's kick was a little strong and the ball clattering into the backboards behind the try line. Will be a scrum just outside the 22. Japan will have the put in. 5 minutes to go in the match. Players have to be born during 96 and 97 to take part in this. Lots of wildlife around here as well, flying overhead, circling and waiting to pounce, as are the French here if they can get the ball from the scrum. Toyada. Lagarde with the put in for the line out. France, I think, are going to make another change here. Indeed, it's Alexandre Roumat that's coming on. He's about 6'7", 6'8" tall, so he'll go into the line out in an attempt to win the ball back for the French. Gets a bit of a helping hand as well. Nicely done. Retier. Septa. Good quick hands from the French. Retier pursued out wide by Shimin Kohara. Lagarde. Roumat. Scrum again with Japan to put the ball back in. Over 3,800 athletes taking part in these Youth Olympics, the second Summer Youth Olympic Games. Aya Mizuyaki coming on for Japan. 28 sports, 201 competing nations. It's been a real festival of sport, and not just on the sporting field as well, culturally also. Japan need to get into the French half. They do cross over the line for the first time in the second half. Kohara. Lovely ball outside to Takayama. Referee's whistle's gone though. Forward pass. That's a little unfortunate. Another 7-pointer would pull Japan to within a try and a conversion of a levelling with France. Another change with Martin Laveau coming on. It's been quite a hectic schedule for these guys, even though it's only 7 minutes a half. This is their 5th game in just over 2 days. Saw 1 or 2 injuries creeping into 1 or 2 of the women's teams as squad strength is stretched to the limit. Retier. Spilled by Roumat. Japan put into the scrum once again. 2:20 just over to go in the match. Japan inside the French 22. Takayama. Kohara just hauled back as he was trying to play that ball away. Strong play from the French. Ball's at the bottom of the ruck somewhere. Now Japan still have possession. Almost wriggled his way free there, but Kuwayama will break towards the line and the ball's been spilled. That's a mistake by Japan, but recovered by Mizuyaki. Takayama. France having to tackle strongly at the moment. Got the put in from the scrum though, the French. Could be a couple of changes coming up here for Tsuyoshi Tokunaga. Referee has stopped the clock on 1 minute 12. All those changes are made. Ryosuke Funahashi and Shogo Nakano are the two players that have come on. Brief hold up here while we have an injury to Alexandre Lagarde. Not too sure how that happened. There was a real pile of players. The ball was at the bottom of the ruck somewhere. Lagarde went down. A little bit of concern perhaps for Thierry Janacek. He's okay though, Lagarde. Will be Lagarde with the put in for the scrum. Retier, Lagarde, here he goes again. And you won't catch him, I guarantee you that. He's away and under the post once again for another try for France. Is he? Just about, in fact. Great chasing back by Aya Miyazaki, but he couldn't quite make it. And France increase their lead, 26-7. And having been injured just a moment or so ago, a miraculous recovery from Alex Lagarde. France will move ahead of Argentina. Argentina still to come with their final game rather against the USA. Fiji against Kenya will round off the men's pool matches. We'll know the semi-final lineup by the break in proceedings. 3.5 hour break between sessions today before the women's and men's 5th and 6th place matches. Did well there, Lagarde. (28-7). Laveau with the successful conversion for the extra 2 points. Hooter's gone for the end of the game. Just a question of how Japan can fare with this final move now. Shimayada. Nakano. They started off slowly in the competition, the French, having been beaten by Argentina, but they've recorded their 4th win in a row, victories over Kenya, Fiji, the USA, and now Japan. See them top the group for the moment at least, but they're safely into the semi-finals. They knew that before the game anyway. Whatever happened here today, that could be enough also for Japan. Kenya can still catch them, but wait and see what happens with the Kenya-Fiji game a little bit later on. The French have been efficient as they've gone about their business once again. The likes of Fatas, Retier, Arate and Lagarde all playing their part in another impressive victory for Thierry Janacek's side. And they all starting to have their eyes on medals now, the teams that have made it into the last 4 of the men's rugby sevens. Full time in the final pool match between these two teams. France 28, Japan 7.